Well, you saw that Bryce Crawford appearance with the Father Lazarus Coptic priest. That was set up by Roots too. So he's going around and he's telling these people. It seems like
they've been doing this for 2 years. Like they've been doing this for 2 years.
What's really crazy is that we've found. I'm going to publish some stuff about this, but the Southern Poverty Law Center is actually funding Roots.
He's joking. If you like, they're gonna clip that and say that that's slander. I'm being serious. Like, you have to specify that you're joking.
Keep these Southern Poverty Law Center jokes going, but like, people are so autistic, they really be like, "Oh my gosh, really?" Yep.
Well, speaking of the grip,
autistic people can't pick up on satire.
Cleve, you sounded suspicious. I feel like I have to justify and explain why I would go on Brian. I had no idea who Brian Davila was. Okay, so when Ubi told me, I had already promised.
On his show.
Well, he hasn't released it yet, and in fact, he might not even do it, right? Because if he asked me on the podcast, he goes, "How come you don't like Roots Orthodoxy?" And I'm like, I think I said, I think the. Yeah, I said.
No idea that you went on a show. I just saw that today. Somebody had sent it to me on Instagram DMs that he was like, "Oh, he did it again. Look at him. He put the same Coptic priest that he was crashing out. People were upset at him for calling him Orthodox and making the title Orthodox. And then he just did it again. I had no idea that you were going.
Well, there was a bunch of red flags that popped up even when I was on the podcast. Like, for example, he said at the beginning, I've gone to the liturgy every day this month. And Ubi's like, we don't have liturgy every day. So I don't know what he's talking about. So that was a red flag, which was like, I mean, is there perhaps a church in Vegas has a liturgy every day? I mean, I don't think so. Yeah.
And I think a lot of there's like a new genre of terminal fence sitters that are doing this whole like, oh, should I become Catholic? Should I become Orthodox? And they're just grifting money from people doing these kind of like mega ecumenist podcast interviews and things like this.
Right.
And they all seem to have links to the same people.
Yeah.
Like they're all linked up
with Roots.
With Roots of Orthodoxy.
Yep.
And he's hosting debates with like Voice of Reason and this kind of stuff, but they're all a part of the same clique. So,
yep.
I think a good rule of thumb is any major podcast that has like Father Lazarus on it is probably set up by Roots because he seems to be acting as his agent.
Interesting. Yeah, exactly. That's what's going on. And also, so Brian Davila comes out of the real estate bro sphere. So he's a huge student of, Alex Hormozy is that big real estate podcaster guy.
Mm.
So basically,
no, I'm not familiar,
so Hormozy is like the biggest like real estate podcaster dude who's like, multimillionaire guy. And he just gives a lot of like advice on, finance and stuff like that. And Alex was from that sphere and became I think he was an atheist for a long time. And then he became but he was in the real estate sphere. This is the Hormozy dude.
And then he became a devotee of Tai Lopez.
Well, he became a evangelical charismatic. So
he literally just became Tai Lopez.
Well, a lot of the podcast was him asking me, why does Orthodoxy reject charismatic miracles, divine revelation, and along we had about, I would say 30 minutes of the hour was about delusion and prelust. And he was like, I don't understand this prelust thing. Like, what do you mean? And explain that. And I'm not, he says, I had a charismatic, miraculous experience where I levitated. Are you telling me that didn't happen? And so like, we talked about that for like 30 minutes. So anyway, so he comes from the sphere of this guy, as a student of this guy. And then now these guys see the trend. This is my opinion. They see the trend of the rise of Orthodoxy, which I showed you in the Google Trends here. And let me go back to Orthodox Christianity as a term. They see this, right? They see this on YouTube. They see this on web search the last 5 years. And so they're looking at this from a marketing perspective, and they're saying, like Cleve said, well, all we got to do is be this like fake neutral, like, oh, we want to hear all the sides, and we want the Protestant bros and the Ortho bro and the this and the that. And the same thing that Ruslan's doing with his Bless God Summit, right? Have Gavin Ortland, have Trent Horn, have all the Protestants and the Roman Catholics and even the atheists. By the way, there was an atheist dude that made a video who went to Ruslan's thing and he talked about how corny it was. I was about to play that guy's video, but I don't want to over Ruslanize. I mean, I'm not going to talk about this guy every day, but yeah,
Trump
you get the point, right?
Yeah, that's a good point that you bring up too. I think the reason that they're titling these videos Orthodox priest is because nobody's searching Coptic priest.
Right.
No one's searching, Monophysite priest. These are not search terms anybody's looking for. Everybody's looking at orthodoxy. Even over, say, like Roman Catholicism. I was looking at a Google Trends thing. If you type in like Roman Catholicism and orthodoxy, the searches for orthodoxy are way higher, even from like an SEO perspective. Mm-hmm. So these guys are using the title, knowing that they're going to have people crash out in the comments. But the crash outs in the comments also help their algorithm.
It helps the algorithm.
It's a big
exactly.
grift circle.
It's a grift circle, exactly. And if they and if it wasn't that, they would immediately convert they would become catechumens, and they would follow the rule of not being public influencers for a while. They would take some time to learn the theology, but that's not what it's about. Anyway.
By the way, speaking of, how they're always so obsessed with numbers.
You mean marketing dudes or who?
The papists are.
Yes,
so
the papists. Yes.
Now, of course, there's one number that the church has, the papist church, that they won't let you bring up, but I'm not going to mention that on air. However, if you go look per capita,
what are you referring to? Like, all these cryptic jokes. Like, what's your cryptic joke there? What's the number?
Roman Catholics have a really high number, another really high number.
Oh, PDF stuff?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
But no, that doesn't count. That's when the numbers don't count, right? All right. However, go do some research per capita. There are people converting to Roman Catholicism. It's roughly only 8%. Orthodoxy per capita is 24%. And numbers are probably higher because it's more difficult to get because of the decentral and the different jurisdictions to get. So basically, those are conservative numbers. They're probably higher than 24%. Anyways, they're so obsessed with numbers, but it's like you're losing. First of all, you're bleeding.
Well, according to Posobiec and all the influencers, they're exploding, and Candace is causing Catholicism to explode. Who believes
only
that?
8% per capita. Yeah. And we're at a low conservative number, 24. So yeah, we're beating them. It's just they have more people in terms of total numbers because they have more absolute. There's a larger number of Roman Catholics.
Okay, now Dantel says for $10, Clyde is a huge Islamic shill. Are you talking about this guy? He just converted to Orthodoxy, so that doesn't sound right. Are you talking about a different Clyde, or maybe you're saying this guy is not fully instructed yet on Orthodoxy, like he thinks that the two can be joined together? I'm not sure what you mean, Dantella, or are you talking about somebody else? You're talking about this guy, because this guy reached out to me. I think he knows Father Moses, right? So this guy is a Instagram guy who just went to Mount Athos and has been baptized, converted to the Orthodox Church. I see Cleve commented here on his video many years. So I was going to play a little bit of a clip of his video, but he's basically just describing his journey. And I think he had a period of atheism as well, but I haven't. All I've seen on his feed is Orthodox stuff. So I've not seen anything about Islam. So maybe you're saying that, like, he had a position on. Oh, he was talking to Myron. So he did an interview with Myron 5 months ago. Interesting.
Yeah, so you were telling me about how you got into this.
Yeah, so my upbringing was in a Protestant Reformed church, Republican, all that stuff. And like my church growing up, my circles growing up, my family, they were all like pro-Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe he had this sort of a, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of the sort of the Tucker attitude of like, oh, well, maybe we can be BFF with Islam because it's supposedly based. So his Instagram is filled with praising Islam. Interesting. So, I mean, I think if he's a genuine convert, that will eventually work itself out. I don't think he. But again, remember, time will reveal all this stuff to people, right? For people, right? So if people are fake converts, eventually they, I think, make a big mistake, or they go away or whatever. But I haven't seen. I mean, Father Moses, I think, is trying to move him in the right direction. I think Father Moses is good. Father Moses is not going to be pro-Islam at all. So, somebody says the super chatter is referring to his pro-Gaza approach. Well, that's not the same thing as being necessarily pro-Islam. So people are saying he's not pro-Islam, he's anti-Zionist. Okay. Clyde collabs with Muslims because he's pro-Gaza. Okay. Interesting. Well, we'd have to see exactly what his positions are. And I think Clyde reached out to me, he wants to do a conversation. So we have talked on DMs. So we'll try to flesh out exactly what's going on there, because I noticed there was an interesting conversation between John Kiriakou and what's his name? PBD. And they were arguing over this exact same issue of like, is PBD Zionist or not? And so they kind of had a little mini debate about that.